We're on. Okay. All right, we will begin.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 2026 meeting of the Oline Zoning Commission. This evening, we have at the table, we have our permanent members, Mary Jo Nozel, Denise Savageau, Michael Foliano, myself, Paul Orzel, alternate member Michael Barnes, also with us, our land use coordinator, Eric Knapp. And this evening, we also have our town zoning attorney Matt Willis at the table. Absent this evening to date is Mary Gardner Coppola is out ill. We're also missing permanent member Jane Marsh. So in the interim, sometimes she runs a little bit late. In the interim, I will appoint Michael Peter Barnes to stay in that position for the evening or until such time she appears. Okay, that appears to be it. All right, first order of business on the table here this evening is there anyone in the audience that has any comments to make or public comments to make on any item on the agenda? And if you do, you'll be first. And if you do, you please come to the table, state your name, your address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Okay, sir.
Howard Margulies, 6 Ladies Slipper Lane. I know you have a very full agenda, so I'll try to be very quick. I'm on one of the planning commissioners, and I realize that you're going through the process of revising zoning regs, and we have a role in that. And in my mind, it would be great if we can find some way to coordinate our efforts. We know that you have, Eric, at our last meeting indicated that you have pretty tight schedule of what you're planning to do with your zoning regs. But the planning commissioner, a number of commissioners are interested in looking at the POCD and reviewing that. Typically, it's been done every 10 years. It was done 2021, but you can review it before that. In fact, the law actually says you should be obligated to reviewing it. We think this is the perfect time to do that, given the new affordable housing law and what you guys are doing. So it would seem if you were starting over on this project, the best thing probably would have been done is to have us review the POCD before you do your zoning regs, so that in case we change the POCD, you don't have to go back. So I just want to lay out that and let you think about the best ways how we can coordinate to get this process done quickly and efficiently as possible. The second thing I just wanted to mention is, as you know, we have the new affordable housing law coming down the pike. The River Cog is going to be the focus of working on those how the municipalities will implement it. I am the planning commission the representative to the River Cog Planning Committee. And that committee has been turning out a lot of good information and interpretation of the new law. So I don't know if you guys are tied into that, but if as you go down the road, you may need to make changes to zoning to incorporate the new law. Be happy to, if you have questions to River Cog, you can ask me and I can pass them on. And I'm very willing to share all the information that they've given us up to date and going forward if you need that.
Okay, good. Thank you, Howard.
Okay.
Are we asking you? Thanks, Howard.
No. Public comment.
Yeah.
This is not public. This is all.
So listen.
You just listen. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Sir.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commission, for your hard work. And thank you, Eric. My name is Alex Richardson. I live at 41 Smith Neck Road. And I'm going to talk really quickly about our point of view on 43 Smith Neck, which I think is on your agenda. So thank you for the brief 3 minutes. My wife and I are direct neighbors. We're adjoining. We have deep roots and really care about Old Lyme and appreciate your hard work. My wife grew up in Duck River Lane. My mother-in-law worked on the school board, Bund Carter, and our families protected the open space for many years through donations to the land trust. And we really care tonight about transparency and process. So 1 year ago, we were in this room and the Merriam's application for a large new dwelling was unanimously denied by this commission with over 75 to 100 citizens in attendance and virtual attendance. But instead of filing a revision for their plans, like hundreds of other Old Lyme citizens, including me, they took a very expensive litigation approach with their new hometown. And I'm really sorry about that. We understand that the Marians have revised their plans, and we appreciate their modifications. However, no one outside the legal settlement and perhaps your team know what these revisions are. Our ask before this vote is we respectfully ask this committee and would appreciate it if we could see what's being proposed. We would hope that it would be shared publicly so the neighbors and citizens in this room, many of which are here tonight, can take a look at it. No judge would deny a disclosure of a revision of plans. We'd love to get the Connecticut River Gateway Commission to evaluate the plans to see if it meets their standards. And we'd love to have the team to take more than 1 week to a month to verify that it complies with all your Old Lyme zoning regulations, specifically 4.10.12.1 and 4.10.12.1.f. So we're asking the commission for transparency, not obstruction. Just show us the plans, just like every other Old Lyme property owner does in this room. Now, the Smith boat launch isn't just a place. It's where generations of Old Lyme families have launched their boats, watched sunsets, gone hunting, made memories. And just last summer, a young couple got engaged there at the sunset right on the bird area. It was really an amazing look. So it's where we connect with the Connecticut River and with each other. So thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I'm grateful to your work.
Thank you. Yes.
Greetings, I'm Peter McKillop. I'm also from Smith Neck Road. I'm not going to repeat all the things that Alex has just said, but I want to just also, reiterate my concern about the fact that there should be a proper, public review of the changes or the proposed revisions. And just to remind everybody, this isn't just any location. It's a location that thousands of, Connecticut citizens and global citizens will have when they come up the back river onto one of the great estuaries of the world. So I hope that the zoning commission gives everyone the time to review these revisions so that we can all have public comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, folks. My name is Tor Kayyum, and I live at 11 Kinner Avenue. And I had a chance to read Alex Richardson's note to the editor, and I thought he made some extraordinarily compelling points. It seems to me that the process that we're engaged right now is not transparent. It's not open to the public, and it's not clear to me why we're subverting a process that's worked so well for the organization, for the Old Lyme for Old Lyme, for the citizens over the years. I'm also very concerned about the precedent that this is setting, because it seems to me like somebody could litigate, and as a consequence of the litigation process, could somehow subvert the normal zoning process. And that's not a precedent, it seems to me, that serves the town well. And so hopefully that we can have an open process and a transparent process so that everyone can provide their input and the commission can make the ultimate decision. Thank you.
Can you spell again your name, please?
THOR.
And your last name?
Kayyum. KAYEUM.
Anyone else care to make a comment on any item on the agenda?
Evening, Your Honor. I'm Attorney William McCoy. I previously appeared before this commission on the presentation of this matter approximately a year ago. For the record, Mr. Richardson and Ms. Carter, who are the owners of abutting land on the northerly side of this property, moved for intervention in the case, which was not ruled upon by the judge while the process of the parties trying to settle the matter was accomplished. In that sense, my clients have been locked out of the process of what's going on while this is ongoing. And I say that only to give you historical perspective on where we are. We have not seen the proposed revision of the application, which is being considered by you at executive session tonight. I had brief comments for the attorney for the Marions early on in the process, and there was discussion about potential changes, but we're not aware of exactly what those changes are and how they affect the matter. I would respectfully request that rather than acting on this matter tonight, admittedly, you're going to be going into executive session to consider it, but you're coming out of the executive session with an agenda item saying possible decision. I would ask you to consider opening the revisions to the public so that the public can have an honest appraisal of what's going on here. Moreover, I think that the Gateway Commission, which was actively involved in the process earlier, should have some input into the revisions that are being made as well. I would fully appreciate that this matter be continued at the very least to the next meeting for any action on this, because at this point, literally, the public comments that were brought forward at the first phase of this matter will be a non-entity if you simply agree to a settlement that none of us have had a chance to view. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney McCoy.
Suzanne Thompson, 6 Cordgrass Lane, Old Lyme. I'm here as the Old Lyme appointee to the Connecticut River Gateway Commission and happen to serve as the chair of the commission. Because our name was mentioned and brought up, I just wanted to reiterate the January 13th, 2025 letter that we did send to your zoning commission saying that we would welcome the opportunity to look again at something coming through a special permit. I realize this is a section 8.8 appeal, a different process, and we're probably not envisioned in that section of the state statute at all. But as a unique regional organization, all the towns joined in 1973 and have continued to revise and update the standards, including the ones added in 2004, adopted by all towns that provided for this special exception permit review process. It is a different step, but it is something that regionally all the 8 towns have embraced. So we're here. Not quite sure how we fit in the process under section 8.8, but would love to be a part of the consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, just to be clear, this would be the only time in this meeting this evening that public comment will be allowed. So I will ask again, is there any more public comment on any item on the agenda? Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, the zoning commission will be entering, I believe, 2 executive sessions.
So just one session, I think, for
One,
2
you want to do
items.
one session? Okay, we're going to do 1 executive session. We have 2 items that we need to discuss. We will go into the executive session. I'm going to ask everyone, you'll have to leave the room and you can be in the vestibule or other sections. We will resume the meeting and call the public back in when we exit executive session.
Take a motion to enter.
So
executive
I will
session.
then take a motion that we enter executive session
So moved.
by Denise.
What's being discussed during the executives?
We have two areas of litigation that we're discussing.
250 Shore Road and 43 Smith's Neck are the two items of litigation that are being discussed during the executive session.
We make a decision about 43.
We're going into executive session, so I have no idea.
No decisions will be made during the executive session. If there
No
are any,
votes will be taken.
if there are any decisions to be
Discussion during the executive session? Are there, what were the boundaries of discussion? Is it just about the process?
okay, sir. I mean, we will be reviewing plans and other things during the session. No votes will be taken. If there is something that the commission would like to vote on, and I don't know that that's the case, when they come out of executive session, those items will be basically opened at that point. You will be able to see them, but there will be no further public comment at that time.
Okay, as part of that motion, as part of discussion, before we second it, would also like to invite in Attorney Willis and our land use coordinator, Eric Knapp. So is there a second? Second, okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, we're gonna ask you folks, if you would please kindly, and we will, call you back in at the end of the session.
No motions made, no actions taken.
Motion's made and no actions taken.
Okay, let
All in
everybody
favor?
back in.
Aye.
Now comes the fun.
Oh, yeah. Prepare for the spitballs. We're gonna lose this.
Yes.
Can I see the Jennifer one second?
No.
My daughter works for GE now. We had to get just got a new microwave. And I was like, just said, hey, do you guys need a new microwave? We can get you a deal.
All right, thank you everyone for your patience. We're now gonna continue our regularly scheduled meeting. First thing I would ask the commission is for a motion that we move in section 5, items 1 and 2 as the next order of business addressing 250 Shore Road first and 43 Smith's Road second.
That's Nick.
Smith's Neck Road second.
So move.
Second.
By Mary Jo and second by Denise. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. So 250 Shore Road. I would entertain a motion that the commission approve the special permit for 250 Shore Road with the inclusion of the 9 conditions as presented.
Second.
Second, that means you're making the motion, Mary Jo.
Motion made.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, motion to approve the special permit is passed 5-0-0. All right, the next item is 250, I'm sorry, 43 Smith Neck Road. I would like to move that we have a motion to adopt the settlement proposal dated January 12th, 2026 for the following reasons: that there has been a material reduction in the impact to the site. The size of the home has been reduced by approximately 3,000 square feet. The home has been moved back 35 feet and vegetation has been added. I will take motion for that. So moved by Denise,
Second.
second by Mary Jo. Any additional discussion? Okay, then motion to adopt the settlement proposal dated 1/12/26 with the 4 conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, it is approved 5-0-0. Okay, now let's get back to the agenda. We have one more change in the order of business. We need to add, was somehow left out. We need to add the election of officers. So I'll take a motion that we add that at the end of section 6, the receipt and setting at public hearings for new cases.
So move.
By Mary Jo, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Foliano, all in favor? Opposed, abstained. Okay, so we'll do the election here. Okay, our next item 4 is the public hearing case 2511. Proposed adoption of comprehensive revised zoning regulations. Purpose of the proposed revisions is to modernize, clarify, and update the town's zoning framework in accordance with current planning objectives and applicable state statutes. Old Lyme Zoning Commission applicant. So there's a note on this also. The proposed revision will include a complete reformatting of the regulations. An appendix has been included with the proposed revision to allow users to see where the new regulations sections of the prior versions have been included. Town of Old Lyme applicant. Note this public hearing will be left open until the February 9th meeting. So the public hearing for the regulations will not close this evening. Okay. Commission members, we have discussed this.
Before you get started here, let me
Okay.
find my legal notice in here.
Oh,
So
is this right here?
yeah, do you have, okay. You're the secretary, but I.
So I read the legal notice.
Mhm.
Madam Secretary.
Yeah. The zoning commission of the town of Old Lyme will hold a public hearing at a regular meeting on Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 6:30 PM at Memorial Town Hall in the meeting hall, 52 Lime Street, Old Lyme, Connecticut, to consider and hear comments on the following. Case number 2510, special permit application and coastal site plan, 80-1 Lime Street, application to extend educational institutional use to adjacent property, applicant Lyme Academy College of Fine Arts Incorporated.
Wait a minute, I'm confused.
You're gonna read both legal notices
Oh,
right
you're reading
now.
both in.
Just read them both out now to get them on the record.
Got it.
here.
And then application 2511, proposed adoption of comprehensive revised zoning regulations, update to the town's zoning framework in accordance with current planning objectives and applicable state statutes, town of Old Lyme applicant. At this hearing, members of the public shall have the opportunity to appear and be heard regarding the proposed adoption of the revised zoning regulations. Copies of the full text of the proposed regulations are available for public inspection at the town of Old Lyme town clerk's office during regular business hours and on the town's official website, 52 Lime Street, Old Lyme, Connecticut, dated at Old Lyme, Connecticut, December 30th, 2025. Jane Almar sent. Michael Miller.
Take that back. I think someone had to read the list of exhibits because that's what we're gonna do right now. Exhibit A is the application with regulations. Exhibit B is the documentation of the different agencies we notified within 35 days. Exhibit C is the response from CECA, the Southeastern Council of Governments. Exhibit D is the FHI summary of phase 1. Exhibit E is the legal ad published in the New London Day on December 30th and January 9th. Exhibit F is the letter from Connecticut River Gateway requesting continuance to dated 1/7/26. Exhibit G is the response from Rivercog. And Exhibit H is the proposed blight ordinance, Old Lyme Shoreline Gateway Commission. Those are the exhibits you've got. And again, you should have copies of the reg. I have an extra copy here in the file if anybody needs a copy to look at tonight.
Okay.
And at this point, Paul, back to you.
Okay. So, commission, I know we have done extensive discussion on these regulations. Do we have any other comments about them before we open up the public hearing, or are we gonna?
Are we just setting the public hearing? No, this is.
So this is the public hearing.
Public hearing.
We agreed that we would leave it open until February.
Got it.
And just for the record, Planning Commission, when we had their meeting late last week, none of them had reviewed it yet. So they have set a special meeting for the 29th of this month so that they will have comments in time for your February meeting. But I have nothing back from planning at this point in time.
Okay. Could someone refresh my memory on the blight ordinance? I don't recall seeing that.
You haven't seen that. This is going to be it's really for part 2. It's not really for now. They would like somehow for there to be the incorporation of blight. And it's not even in your zoning regulations. They're just indicating that they believe that blight is not being dealt with adequately in the zoning regulations and would like you to consider that.
So we're considering adding blight regulations to the regulations?
Except, no, blight has to be handled by ordinance. It's going to have to be done by town meeting separately.
Got that.
they've given you the, I'm not entirely sure why they're telling you that we need a blight ordinance, but they've decided that as long as you're updating the regs, they want to try and make sure that blight is a consideration in your regulations. Okay? But a blight ordinance has to be handled by the Board of Selectmen, not by by this commission.
So there would be no mechanism because of it. It's not included in there now.
No, we can handle, and you have in there now, prohibitions on junkyards. We have a whole junk section, what you can't have. I mean, this is what
Like how you're managing that house on
one
Mile Creek.
66 Mile Creek, okay? The trial on that is the 28th, by the way, in case you're interested. We have all of that in the regs, but an actual blight ordinance
I know we
by
don't.
statute is a separate entity. You need to appoint a blight officer. You need to appoint a hearing officer to hear appeals from the blight officer, all of which is set up in a separate
I understand.
category. So all we have from Gateway is a statement that they would like you to consider.
Oh, so that was from Gateway. It wasn't from the municipality.
No, the
So it's from Shoreline Gateway. Thank you.
Shoreline Gateway Committee,
Not the gateway.
Shoreline Gateway Committee, not the other.
Okay, now that just changed my perspective. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So yes, they, Shoreline Gateway says
Do they have a drafted ordinance already?
they have drafted what they want to see in an ordinance. They haven't actually drafted an ordinance at this point in time. Okay, this is Shoreline Gateway. This is
Got,
not-
I understand. That's why it's clarifying.
Anybody else?
And I think we should go right into
Public hearing? Okay. All right. So if anyone of the public would like to comment on the zoning regulation change adoption, you'll come forward, name, address, 3 minutes. But I just want to let you know once again that this first phase of the regulation change was simply to dot all the i's and cross all the t's, if you will. It went through, it looked for ambiguous areas in the text. It made sure that now our zoning regulations are in total compliance with FEMA, with the state statutes. So it's basically a cleanup of what we already have. Nothing new has been added. It's, I guess, more secretarial if you want. But that being said, does anyone have any comments about the regulations so far?
Don't all come up at once.
Okay. Then with that, I guess we will,
Move to continue
I
the,
was gonna say, move to continue the public hearing to February. Is there a motion? Michael Foliano. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor of continuing the public hearing for the adoption of the zoning regulations to February? To the February meeting?
Aye.
You made the motion, right?
I
So
second.
second by, no, Mary Jo.
I have Foliano Barnes.
Oh, Barnes, okay.
Yep.
We're right there, aren't we?
We're right there.
They're right there, I'm telling you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Okay, so the zoning regs are continued to the February meeting.
Paul, if I could just one comment, and this has to do with, we heard about updating. I'm looking forward to hearing what planning has to say when they do their review on the 29th. But I did want to make it clear that when we're looking at phase 2, which is going to be, looking at more substance, the substantive work that we're going to be doing, that we are going to be reaching out to all the commissions. And I wanted, because Howard made that comment that he thought that was important, and that is our plan. So,
Right.
and there's a memo online that kind of clarifies that. So for those who are interested in the zoning regs, if that's online, what the process will be. So.
Thank you. Okay. Then I guess we are ready to move on to item 2, case 2510, the special permit application and coastal site plan for 80-1 Lime Street, application to extend educational institutional use to adjacent property. The Lime Academy of Fine Arts as the applicant.
Okay, we've already read the legal notice. We don't need to
Okay.
read that again, but I'm going to read through the exhibit list. So we'll
Okay.
have that, okay?
Okay.
Exhibit A is the application. Exhibit B is the deed. Exhibit C is the coastal area management application. Exhibit D is a statement of use. Exhibit E is a site plan. Exhibit F is an email from Timothy Herbst. Exhibit G is a review by the Connecticut River Gateway Commission. Exhibit H is certificates of mailing. And Exhibit I is the legal ad published in the New London Day on December 30th and January 9th.
All right. Come forth.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Wendy Barrett, I'm the Managing Director at Lime Academy.
I'm Jordan Sokol. I'm the Artistic Director at Lime Academy.
I'm Brian McCann. I'm an attorney from Zabel Schellenberg. Represent the Lime Academy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I commend you all.
I just hand these. I think you got most of these in your package, but
Thank you.
So my name is Brian McCann. I am a land use municipal and zoning attorney with Zabel Schellenberg. I represent the Lime Academy of Fine Arts. The Lime Academy of Fine Arts is located at 82-84 Lime Street. They have an existing campus where they do art instruction. They create art. They had an opportunity to acquire the property next door, 80-1 Lime Street. That property was owned by an artist named Gil Burrow. And Gil constructed a barn on the property, an art studio and a barn. And he had a public outdoor showcase to the rear of the barn, between the barn and the water's edge, that was open to the public. There is an existing crosswalk between LAFA and 80-1 Lime Street. I use LAFA because it's easier than Lime Academy of Fine Arts. The reason for this crosswalk is because the Lime Academy allowed visitors of the outdoor showcase to use their parking lot. And they also encourage students to go view the outdoor showcase and interact with the sculpture and to learn. As I said, the opportunity became available to upon Mr. Burrow's retirement. The opportunity became available to acquire the property. That is something that LAFA was very interested in, and with the assistance of a donor, they were able to accomplish that. So they have acquired the property. I know a lot of you heard our presentation at the pre-application level, and I'm not sure that the property had closed at that point. So I wanted to bring you up to date on that. LAFA does own 80-1 Lime Street, and they are here tonight because they're interested in expanding their educational use onto 80-1 Lime Street. Specifically, they're interested in using the art studio barn on the property. They have plans to, their immediate plans are to improve the crosswalk between the two properties and have more of a safe connection between the two properties, so that students can cross and access the property safely. The parking will remain on 82-84 Lime Street. As I said in my memo, there will be some use of there is a driveway that runs on 80-1, but on the side of 82-84. That was actually one of the few zoning permits that I did find in the file. There was an application to improve that driveway as well as install some vegetation buffer along the sides of that, because for those that aren't aware, 80-1 is a rear lot, a flag lot. So there is a property in front. And I think at the time that the idea was to kind of have some visual buffer for that public access that may occur. The driveway, as we are proposing its use, will be primarily for deliveries of art materials and such. There will be a few parking spaces adjacent to the art studio, but all of the students will park on 82 Lime Street. The property is located in RU40 zoning district. It's well over the required 1.3 acres. I believe it's 4.25 acres. There is a main residence on the property. That residence is going to be occupied, and it's going to be occupied by someone with a volunteer position at the art school. There's currently an in-ground swimming pool that the academy plans on filling in, and 2 additional outbuildings, and the aforementioned outdoor sculpture display ground. Although it's my understanding that the sculptures have been removed from the property. I believe they went with the former owner or to other locations. According to your zoning regulations, you do allow in the RU40 district, private schools, profit or nonprofit, as well as philanthropic, educational, recreational, religious uses by duly organized nonprofit entities. And we're essentially applying under both, because I think LAFA qualifies equally under both of those categories. The main use of the property will be in the art studio. However, there will be some use of the surrounding grounds. On the attached site plan, we have an area shaded in yellow that is called out as the exclusive use, but it's not the only use. So I want to be clear and upfront with the commission. There will be some shared areas around the property, including the sculpture ground, including the outdoor work area. But I think for purposes of the special permit application, it's important to point out where those direct classroom functions are going to occur. And what we've done is we've proposed some visual and noise screening. I think we have a vegetated buffer as well as some fencing around that area. The purpose of that really isn't to screen or buffer that from the remainder of the property. The real purpose is to screen and buffer that from adjacent properties. Because the dwellings on the property are going to be occupied by students or positions at the school. I don't really think that there's going to be a problem with the resident or residents on the property at 80-1 Lime. I think it's mostly to assist with visual buffer and noise buffer from adjacent properties. There is outdoor sculpture area, and one thing that I did want to point out, which was actually caught by the Connecticut Deep, and I appreciate it, was that in my narrative I had said I think there's minimal or virtually no physical improvements that go along with the special permit application. Well, one, there is one, and I'm glad it was caught because we should be clear on the record. We are proposing a covering for the outdoor workspace. So that's important to note for the record. And there will be, and I'm not trying to represent to the commission that there won't be renovations down the road. In fact, I think they're discussing some renovations, there's certainly some deferred maintenance that needs to be fixed. So there will be some renovations down the road, but specific to this special permit application, I think the two physical proposals, aside from the buffers and the plantings, are the improvement of the walkway to make something that's ADA accessible, and the covering for the outdoor workspace. I've walked through in my memo. I think you could read the memo, so I don't want to belabor the points. But what I did do is I walked through the special permit criteria. The property is 4.25 acres, so I think there's some ability, especially given the fact that the residences are. Need to get a quick bearing. The residences are to the adjacent residences are to the south and the east. And so there is some a pretty significant amount of space in between the shaded yellow area, the area of the classroom area, and the adjacent properties. So in concert with the physical separation and the vegetative buffer, we believe that there's minimal intrusion onto the adjacent residential properties. As far as traffic and parking, as I stated, the existing campus property 82 will be the parking lot serving 80-1. There are no plans from LAFA to increase enrollment as a direct consequence of acquiring this art studio. So there should not be an increase in traffic or in parking. Another thing that I went through in the special permit criteria is that the art studio barn was used by the previous owner for metal fabrication, art creation, sculpture creation, and custom contract work with metal fabrication. Those uses will no longer be made of the property. This will be, the Laffer proposes purely educational uses on the property, so they're not going to be the same contract work for private clients. It's going to be instructing students on sculpture and art. There will also be creation of sculpture and art. So
Just to clarify, sorry to interrupt you.
Yep.
Are you sure you want to say that you're not going to be be the
Yeah,
existing things?
There will be
Because
which
fabrication.
things?
Like
specifically?
the welding of the
oh, yeah.
because those are sculptures, right? That's art
Yeah.
in essence, right? So I just want to make sure you're not precluding yourself from that ability by saying you're going to abandon those uses. Because if the uses are existing right now, I'd leave them attached.
Yeah, no, I think what I meant specifically though is the commercial
I understand.
contract work. I'm talking very myopically, I guess. But yeah, no,
Because the way I
you're right.
interpreted that was that that they wouldn't do those things.
Oh, no.
We
So
will be doing those.
that's why I'm
things. We will go.
clarifying, because I wanted to,
We will still be making sculptures.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, that part they definitely will do. So thank you for that clarification. Oh, and also the outdoor art showcase.
That's my next question.
They intend to continue that as well.
That was one other question. I don't want to get you guys off topic. So if you prefer me to wait
No,
for
no,
my
no,
questions till
interrupt.
the end, I'll be happy to wait till the end of your
No,
presentation.
no, we,
But as I'm sitting here looking at your thing, and it's just to the same point, I see the whole green area for tenant only. If I'm not mistaken, some of that area was used as part of the display of some of the artwork. So you're absolutely sure that the college doesn't want any art space outside of this green area?
So that's for the lease agreement in terms of kind of clarifying, but the tenant plans to offer us this, it is offered in the lease agreement, the draft lease agreement, that we'll be able to have access to it, use it, and plan shows, use it. It's very collaborative use of space.
I see this as it says tenant. So to me, that means that the art academy is not going beyond the yellow. But if
I
your
think
intention
the-
is for it to go beyond the yellow, maybe it needs to be defined differently.
I was gonna have sort of the same question, was, can we have some sort of hatched area or whatever it is that says the area to be, possibly used for future, art space or whatever, else, just so that it's clear that you're not literally just limited to the yellow.
yeah,
Because you're acquiring the whole property. So you want to make sure that you have access to the whole property and not just that yellow shaded area. And my interpretation of this application right now is it's just that yellow area.
okay, that's
And
fair.
again, if you weren't, I'm not sure if it was you who was here on the informal or not, but there were a
No,
lot of questions from Jane Marsh regarding the tenancy and the mixed use nature of this. And again, if the majority of land is going to be for the tenant and the minority is going to be for the for LAFA, you're sort of straying into an area that I'm sure Jane Marsh, if she were here, would have lots of questions regarding what's the primary use of this space, as opposed to, if you're asking for the primary use to be the Arts Academy, that's great, but that doesn't seem to be reflected in what you're showing on the page here. Okay?
yeah, I agree with that. I was involved with and actually we had, Mr. Knapp gave us some good comments, and we actually had reached out to a surveyor. It wasn't able, we intended to do a full survey. Unfortunately, it couldn't be completed in the time frame that we had liked. But Wendy's right. The site plan, that particular site plan, the shaded, the colored one, was created for the lease. And the intent there was that there be areas that are called out that are exclusively for the art instruction. And we had designated that yellow just as a mere exclusive use. But the resident of the property is an artist. The resident of the property is involved with the academy, and and actually the resident of the property is here tonight. That outdoor work area, sculpture showcase is an area that's going to be used by the academy. There's no question that. I mean, I don't know that we can say it's going to be exclusively used. There's going to be a shared use because of the tenant. But
Yeah, and we've talked about really for the purpose of the students, right? So the students shouldn't have the ability to just wander all over campus, right?
Agreed.
So for that purpose, this makes sense to us that there was an original kind of
Mhm.
lease agreement that that's their property. Students need to stay in their instructional area. The agreement is that the full property is open for us to use with the, with discussion with the
course.
lease, that it is open grounds for us to have. We've also had a lot of discussion about them having an actual role in the academy as being kind of a hospitality fellow, which means the home then becomes a gathering space, which we don't have on campus without dorms. So there's a larger role for the tenants to be in there, but so while it's not reflected there, and if we need to read that makes sense. But the intention and the understanding is a very collaborative one where everything is working together to serve the students.
Totally understand. I just modify your map to reflect that because as I see it right now, they're two separate things. And I just don't want, if this tenant leaves at some point in time, if this is what you filed on the record,
Right.
then this is what you're stuck with.
Say, I was gonna next
Sounds
time
like there's
make the point.
There are co-primary uses here?
Well, that's, we can sort of talk about that and also just wanted to make sure we reflect on the record. This is a sort of a life tenancy and that
Yes.
it will terminate with the death of the current owners or her current occupants, I guess it is.
Correct.
So that just also needs to get put on the record so that eventually this will all be in LAFA's control.
And this application is going to follow that. So that's why I'm saying whatever things you want to correct.
Yeah,
Next step on your toes here, Michael.
and it is owned by, it's currently owned by LAFA. So, I mean, one could argue that it currently is in LAFA's.
No, I understand,
Control,
but
but
in title, you have. a
Even the
life
tenancy will be
Yeah.
in
Will be
LAFA's
extinguished.
control. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confused when you, in your write-up, you said it was going to be leased to the donor,
The
Yes.
donor, yes.
leased to the donor.
Correct.
Or other significant financial contributors to the property after his tenancy is up under life use.
No.
No,
That's what
no.
that's what I read.
Couldn't be.
Yeah, so the school can use the house after the tenancy is
Yeah,
expired.
but we can't, the life tenant can't transfer his tenant.
I understand that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is after is that what I said? Okay, I'm sorry if I misspoke, but that's what I'm concerned about is just making sure that you can still do all those things that you want to do outside of the absence of him.
Yeah, the application says the plan is to lease the main residence attached garage and certain surrounding grounds, subject property to LAFA affiliated individuals, parenthetically fellows, instructors. Page just to look at my computer right now. Senior directors, inter alia, which is sort of open-ended. So, and so there's at some point in the future, because it doesn't say in here that there's a current tenant that's a life tenancy.
That's why we're trying to get that into the record here. That's,
Yeah, there is a life tenancy. The plan, the current plan for LAFA is that after the life tenancy, that a faculty member or a fellow would assume the tenancy.
That's the way I would. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Just have an empty house or more?
No,
space,
yeah.
Right. So
Right.
I
And
think
the-
that's an advantage to the campus is offering a residential space to somebody of your campus. That's my personal opinion.
But even with the current people that will be living there, part of the agreement is that they actually do share parts of the homes in terms of social gatherings. There's an apartment upstairs above the garage that will be for our use to have faculty members, and visiting faculty and artists be able to use it. So that residence itself is not, while it's their residence to lease, they have made it a shared space and serving in a role to serve as kind of ambassadors to the students in terms of hospitality. So that house will be used to support the student.
Body, yeah.
So the lease is with the owner or the donor. There's no lease then for the other visiting related people. There's not two leases or.
No, when we have visiting faculty or artists, we just put them up someplace. This would just allow us to not have to go put them up in a hotel.
Okay.
The application mentions some apartments as well?
Yes.
Just one single apartment I read.
There's two
There's
apartments.
two.
There's two.
I believe two, yeah.
There's one in the barn. It's very small. It's a studio
Right.
apartment. And then there's one above the garage of the residence. That's
That
the
are
one that-
existing apartments?
Yes.
Yeah.
And are they going to be leased separately or?
So we don't know what we're going to do with the one inside the barn. It could be, it has to be, it needs a lot of work. We've thought about whether it could be an independent apartment for like somebody who works at the academy. There's opportunity for visiting faculty, visiting artists that use it. So it's not been determined yet, but the one above the garage has been given to us in terms of part of our agreement is that it would be ours to ask them to say, we have people coming in, and we probably would use it numerous times a year, more than once.
So how are those currently permitted? I don't know, find that in the record. I'm not against it. I'm just trying to clarify. So that way, is it actually truly a permitted apartment?
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
Does it have a CO or is it just something that's there?
I know there was I don't know about the apartment above the garage, but there was a permit for the
Accessory
barn.
barn, yep.
Yeah. That was actually one of the few.
I'm all for being able to house your staff if there's a possibility or a mechanism to personally.
we've talked about having like a live-in groundskeeper.
Well, that was literally say a groundskeeper.
Again, going back to some of Jane's questions, how does this all come together? Is it educational primary with the residential parts accessory? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, the theory, and you guys struggled with it a lot when we were talking about it, was that, again, as a primary special permit use, this is educational. And that as part of educational, you do have people living there as part of that. So the barn piece of it, all of that seemed to work. Where Jane kept getting hung up was, it's not typical for the donors to live in things that, of this sort. The sort of workaround that was being proposed is what they've been talking to you about, is having them sort of contributing to the art program by offering their house for certain art functions, by, doing art related activities that were part of the college. And I'm not sure you all had a great comfort level, but that was sort of how it was being discussed in a way to address those sorts of concerns. Whether you believe that's sufficient or not, that's a judgment call for you to make. But again, as they're presenting it, they're saying the donors are retaining some art function and as some college function, even though they're going to be living there. To check the box. I mean,
that's where I was last time. That seemed to be continuous with the mission of the academy.
Yeah. And again, if you want sort of further description on the record of how they're going to participate in the arts operation, I'm guessing they can do that. They have the donor here tonight, so that's up to you. But again, that's where, again, Jane was sort of struggling with it. And again, the thought was they were going to sort of contribute to the college in some way to sort of address that issue.
We have kind of formalized the name of it as being a hospitality fellow role and kind of outlined what that role would mean, which means when orientation, different holidays, that we don't have a space on campus that can be more of a social activity space. It's mostly all educational classrooms and then some small kitchenettes. But this would serve as kind of an extension where we really could have a more intimate gathering, more privacy for visiting faculty and artists, but more of a casual and social space that we could use that's not part of the actual campus for them. So they've been incredibly generous in talking to us about how they could support programs that we often can't have on campus or are limited and make them feel not very social. And so it's been a great process, at least talking about how it could be an extension of the programs in a more kind of welcoming and hospitable way to have it served that way.
The application has enumerate some of the possible uses. I think it would be useful. And then at the end, there's kind of an open-ended clause there that says other stuff. So I think it might be useful to tighten that up to say that whatever the other stuff is, it's going to continue to be continuous with the mission and not be a short-term rental.
To your point, Mike,
Yeah.
that's where I think Jane was always uncomfortable is what happened. Yes, you guys have the academy now. It's not going anywhere. We hope, but a few years ago, that was a possibility, right? So I think she would always get hung up on what's going to happen here if you didn't continue to occupy this space. What's the unintended consequence of somebody else occupying this space?
That was really both of our concerns
Yeah,
that day. I was very worried.
I knew I heard it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, is there a way to craft this in such a way where it's, as opposed to a variance that runs with the land, can this approval be conditioned specific to the Lime Art Academy's?
No, you're not able to do that. But
Okay.
we, again, because this is a life use tenancy, you do have sort of a built-in limitation of how long this can go on. I mean, it can't go on indefinitely. So you know it will terminate. It's just a question of when it terminates.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the apartments.
Oh, but the apartments, again, the apartments are approved as part of the educational use.
Okay.
So if someone else with an educational use goes in there and they want to use the apartments, they certainly can do that. If the educational use goes away, then the apartments go away, and whoever comes in has to come in for a new special permit for whatever they're going to be doing.
Okay. That's what I just want to clarify. So we're not trapping ourselves into some sort of agreement with something that's
So-
not supposed to be.
Helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
if some other academy wants to go in after this academy and wants to use these for professor apartments, that's basically the special permit that
Yep.
we've already given.
That's what I was trying to
Okay.
clarify.
But if someone wants to do this as a retail storefront, which is not allowed in the zone, but okay, whatever, if they change the primary function into something that is not educational, they have to come back to you and start entirely from scratch.
I think it's an unlikely scenario, but I had to ask it because I know Jane would be asking.
So I think it'd be useful to close that open end.
Okay,
Are these apartments, do these have kitchens? What are these apartments consisting of?
Oh, they're
well,
barely a kitchenette. I
Yeah,
think the one
they're tiny.
inside the barn literally just has not even one of
Like an
the,
electric
like,
hot plate kind
yeah.
of situation.
No stoves, that's usually the requirement.
I don't think it has a stove. I think it's a mini fridge. The one above the garage, I think, has more of a,
The one above the garage is,
it's
yeah,
about this big, that, the sink in the
yeah,
cooking area.
yeah. I mean, there's.
Yeah, there's a
studio
stove, but
apartments,
it goes to
there's
like 1,200 degrees,
Mhm.
right?
They're not, yeah, they,
Film.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
They do need some work with them, but they're not meant to be, I don't think for our purposes, they're not going to be live in
Retail
year-round
apartments.
places. These are going to be, they're there, most of our visiting artists are there for no more than a few days, maybe a week.
Some of our faculty, they come up weekly from New York City, for example. They stay one night and go back. And so this would be a place for them just to sleep.
I think it's phenomenal. I mean, personally, I think it's a good idea.
Is there any problem in our regulations allowing for that?
no, that's again, 'cause
So
part of it being an educational uses, you have facilities for faculty, whoever else that are able to stay there. So the fact that it's transient as opposed to permanent, I don't know if the regs really care about that. As far as the code issues about,
that's where I was going.
that's a building code, fire code thing that I'm gonna stick other people on. But yeah, I will send the building official in there to go take a look, or I'll send
Yeah.
the building fire marshal in there to take a look. But I'm not sure that that's a zoning concern necessarily, in the sense that zoning merely says, are you using it for a allowed zoning purpose? And if we're saying it's an allowed zoning purpose, then we have to trust that the other people do their jobs.
I think we did this also with the old Bean Thistle. So like that's an educational organization now. And I fought pretty hard because I was concerned they were going to abandon their use of the dwelling units in that building. But I think ultimately we determined, if you recall, that they can use it for the visiting doctor or visiting
Right.
scientists and all that
That's
other
that
stuff.
separate building. I agree. But there was
No, it was also in the third floor of that building.
significant involvement with code and I know
yes,
because
no, there
the
was.
fire marshal was over there all the
Yes.
time.
That's a separate issue.
It's true also, if you recall, for the Autobahn building. They were
That's what I was
adding
talking
space- Okay.
So we're an accredited institution, which means we answer to many different things. And one of them would be anything around the educational space. Not only do we have to be in local code, but there is also just making sure that for educational, we have to be accredited, which means we have to hit our own standards, which in some cases can be more than what's required. But from a local code, we'll meet whatever we need to meet in terms of making sure it's, I don't
Safe
know.
space.
Yeah, it's not unsafe. It just needs updating.
You have a carrier for an educational purpose. It's a little bit different than your homeowner's policy. But we look at this, to go back to the first question, we look at this as predominantly educational use. And I have to agree with you that that's a deceiving site plan.
It's just an illustration that needs updating.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you'd like to make it a condition of your approval, if they give us a modified version of this that reflects areas that will be of shared use, that's probably a useful condition of approval to add, okay?
And that I think we're moving the open-ended part of if the dwellings are intended to be used for educational purposes, accessory purpose, and then close it there. So leave it open.
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to add, especially after what happened at Providence last month. So your safety requirements for a school, carrying over into a private residence, will you be, can you ensure the students, the parents, the building will be up to standards as far as ingress, egress, and all of that? It's a small little campus. I get that, but we live in a different time.
I mean, our insurance, we work really closely with them to make sure that we talk about anything that happens on campus and off campus. And this would be considered part of the camp. So we would work with the insurance company to make sure that they're appropriately insured, but also that we have the safety measures in place. If it's going to be heavily used for students, then yes, we have to make sure that it meets the requirements. Okay.
Thank you.
I believe there'll be a fire marshal inspection in connection with the CO.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. Again, I will, this is not to be, I said, I will send. They'll have to go anyway. I'm not in charge of sending.
We won't blame you for it, but we'll expect it.
Also, Eric, there's a future residential dock for exclusive use by tenant on here.
Yep.
But, we have no plans.
We don't control that dock in any event. That dock's deep.
But by approving this, do we approve them?
We have no regulatory authority to approve or disapprove that dock. Okay, the dock is entirely under Deep's control, and they will have to go get a permit from Deep no matter what we do.
So you guys know that now?
Yes.
If you didn't know it before? Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And speaking of Deep, the coastal, what we haven't mentioned yet, this is also a CAM site plan. I want to mention that. And the Deep review came in today, and that was
for the coastal site plan review?
For the coastal site plan, and that was not included in our submission. So I just want to call that out. It's attached to your handouts from tonight, but it was not included.
Well, if Deep's issuing a permit, they're authorizing it through they don't even need to authorize it through the coastal site plan because it's in their jurisdiction, right?
Well, I think we're talking about two different things. You're kind of dovetailing on Eric's comment about the dock, and I agree with him, but.
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify.
The coastal site plan application requires a specific review
from Deep
regarding potential impacts to coastal resources. That review came in today, and it finds that it's consistent with all applicable coastal resources. So that's good news.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, you're not really. You're just proposing a change of use. You really haven't done any site plan changes.
That's correct.
The couple of things that I was looking at was making sure that, like, I know you want to have parking over there, but I also had talked about access for deliveries and that kind of stuff. And if you're taking that into consideration, want to make sure that you have access to the backs of the buildings. So that's where, for example, you have this, this fence up and then this exclusive use area, which we know we're going to get rid of that. But I'm just saying the way you have this designed right now, I'm looking at how do you maintain a building you can't get to the back of the building. So I know it's yours. The way that the site plan is looked at, it doesn't look that way. So I think it's really important that you get this right in terms of if the primary use is education, you need to give yourself access to everything you want to use on the site plan. And then, because the secondary use is the residential, and that is definitely not clear on the site plan. Just looking at what you've given us right now, I'd be hard pressed to approve this because it doesn't say what you're telling me you're going to do. I'm like, yeah, but what it's saying is not that at all.
There is a road on there. So are you looking for like a gate to fin? I agree with you on that. The site plan doesn't match what they're describing as far as the activity. I clarified that.
Yes.
In my opinion on that perspective.
Well, the issue being you want to just make sure you can get to the back of the buildings. How are you going to do that? And
To the barn you're building?
yeah, to the backs of the buildings. So just make sure that,
So
you know,
you definitely can. There's actually a door on the other side, but when, that access way right now, which is fairly narrow and it actually goes down and it's horrible in terms of just safety. The goal is to actually, at some point, raise it, make it flat, widen it so much so that even say we can get a car to do deliveries from our side of campus, right? Not use the main driveway. That's a whole different potential improvement. But the walkways around the back, around the back of the building, there's a door there that it would still be within. There's access door points on the back of that building that we would.
yeah, I'm not last. I'm talking about vehicle access for doing.
That's actually a turnaround that goes around this building. There's when you come down by the barn, there's a little outbuilding, but it's actually a circle that goes around that little shed that becomes an area. That's actually where the fire emergency trucks and anything else would go.
Okay,
So it's like
okay, I see it
Yeah.
now.
That improved road goes all the way down to the waterfront.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that is
Varying
on the
degrees of
aerial photo, but it's not on that site plan.
Yep.
So you're not showing us on the site plan what's existing. The site plan just doesn't have the detail. And you should really be just showing us what's on the aerial photo. And so that we know that then you have the access. I think you had said you were gonna fill in the pool, or is that still the plan?
Yes.
And he actually mentioned, I'm assuming that they weren't able to get Hendricks Associates out there to do an updated site plan based
We
on.
tried.
So they're working off of an old survey
Yeah.
plan because they couldn't get Tony out there to do what he needed to do in a timely fashion, is my observation.
I guess like I said, that's just a couple of things I was looking at, is just making sure that when you do this, it's like, okay, this residence is gonna be used. And whatever you do with your tenants in terms of the use of the property and where you're gonna be, but you need to be in control of it. So that's where we need to, from an educational perspective. So I just think it really needs to be clarified, as Mike pointed out at the start. But I'm looking at it from that issue of access, what else you might want to do, where you want to have the sculpture garden, and, if you're gonna cover, put the cover on, those are all things that, right now you're just saying a change of use, but you're not telling us what any changes are. So, and you'll have to come back with that, I guess, with the site plan, but.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there will be, we don't want to be coy or opaque. There will be site improvements that will occur. I think right now, there are a couple different drivers. One is obvious the lease agreement, which is already executed. Another is that they would hope to get into this space. And they wanted to just prioritize the special permit for the change of use and then come back, like Wendy said. I mean, when this trail, that's also in a coastal jurisdictional area, so we're gonna have to come back for
If you want to improve that
Right.
beyond what it is right now.
beyond what it is. And so there will be subsequent applications. But I think the real priority is the change of use, because this art studio is one of the more recent constructions on the property. It's probably in the best shape out of all the buildings, and it could be, with minimal modifications, it could be occupied in 2 or 3 months if they wanted it to, which is not the case for some of these other.
Well, just out of curiosity, so this application is for the zone change, right?
It's for change of use.
Change of use. So, but we're still doing a coastal site plan review as part of this change of use?
Yeah, it's because it's a special
So
permit.
to that point, instead of making you come back with a separate application, since we're already doing a coastal site plan improvement application here, would it be in your interest to modify and get the up-to-date maps and then come back next month? And then basically give us your updated site plan with the improvements that you're intending to make, so you're not having to make application twice? As far as, can we make the improvements that they're gonna wanna make part of the application of the change of use to not?
We haven't designed them out yet, so I don't think that's
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know, that to me, it seems like everything was already on
I
here.
appreciate the thought of the efficiency side of it, making sure, but I know that there are kind of for us, the two steps in our mind of
Okay.
of actually building up those plans based on whether we approved.
Yep.
And then also getting forward with the sculpture program that will take place.
Well, I just know as of right now, you're gonna be giving us a separate
Right.
updated site plan with the changes, so
Right.
I was just
Yeah.
commenting on it in that moment.
No, that's a good suggestion.
Eric,
But I think like among other things, we didn't want to assume that we would be.
So yeah, you don't wanna cloud it. Yep, I got it.
Yeah.
I think it's-
Eric, forgive my forgetfulness,
No, that's,
but we were talking about two ways to possibly do this. So one was where we are now, looking at this, but what was the other way? And did you guys finish exploring that? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think we should wait for
I
Jane,
remember.
because she's probably the one that, you're talking about Jane's ideas?
No, I think, I mean, I think we all were talking about that. Would it make more sense to separate these plans instead of having it?
yeah, there was a question about whether to merge the properties or not merge the properties. That
Oh.
seemed to be what we were talking about.
Was that?
Yeah, that's right. That's not.
Okay.
That, yeah.
There's another one to divide
Okay.
within that setback.
Right, I remember that, the setbacks was the issue.
So because I know you were going to talk about
Yeah,
that
'cause you would have a
and explore that a
non-conforming.
little bit
Right.
more.
That's right,
So,
yeah.
and that's where it's like, okay, if we explored all that, we're all certain that this is the way this needs to go, is what I guess.
I think we're okay on that piece of the puzzle. The question for you is, do you want to leave the hearing open for them to come back with additional materials or revised, mapping, other things, just so you're clear on what we're asking for? Because again, it seems like there's sort of a lot of questions you particularly have that say, well, what are we really approving tonight?
I would agree with that. And also I would feel more comfortable if Jane were back
I would agree.
and could discuss that. If we do that, Jane will not be here next month.
Special meeting, I'm okay with.
So no, she won't be here at all, February, anywhere in the area.
Oh, that's right,
So-
she's going back.
So we would have to, if we did this, we would have to continue the public hearing to the March meeting.
So our only concern is that classes begin in end of September. And if we were going to, another 2 or 3 months delay, not delay, but, in terms of processing, that would just, be a challenge for us. What about, can we revisit the conditional?
Well, I guess one might, to that, maybe possibly, but what if we got a second meeting this month for this special meeting for Jane to be present if she could?
Well, I don't know how long it's gonna take you guys to do what additional materials you need to do.
So
So I guess you're hearing the sense from the commission as to where the commission is at. Do you have a sense as to how long it would take you to revise your materials to address the commission's concerns?
It may take some time. I believe that in part because I was the one charged with working on the site plan. And after about 24 hours learning about how someone's semi-retired but working for an engineering firm that's not in town anymore, and I think what we're going to have to do is probably just start from scratch with a whole new site plan. But
Really?
yes, yeah, I do.
I mean, if
But-
this one
but-
was colored differently right now, I'd say
I would say
we'd go for
The
it.
conditional,
Well-
I can give you the conditioning, that, if we can, rather than starting from scratch.
Well, no, what I mean is, I think we're gonna have to hire a surveyor to do an updated A2.
That's what we should be okay.
But we're hoping that we could do that at the time of the site improvements. That was the discussion that I've had with the clients. Again, right now, we're not misrepresenting anything. If we can submit, without redoing the entire survey, if we can submit a revised plan showing that outdoor showcase area as part of the educational use, as a possibly as a condition of approval. I mean, we're literally just going to reshade this same plan. And then at the time when we come 8 months from now, when we come to you with some of the site work, then I think it would make sense to invest the $10,000 into the site plan and get that done appropriately.
Is the covered area part of your sort of phase one? Or is that in the?
That's part of our phase one, yes.
So you want that on the site plan too? Is there any lighting or anything like that involved that you're gonna be doing?
No additional lighting.
I don't think we're very familiar with just how much lighting yet. I mean, it's very well lit right now when we see it every night, so I don't anticipate anything like that.
I'm trying.
I mean, the problem, the way you presented it to us is, what was laid out earlier is that you've got all this area that has nothing to do with the school. It's saying exclusive use for residential or exclusive use for tenant of most of the property, but you want us to rezone the whole property. And yet that use is not changing. That use is residential.
We're not,
And
re-
I don't agree with
we're
that.
not rezoning it, but we are changing the,
Well, yes,
Use.
the use, but changing that, but I'm saying changing the use is basically, this is saying that, so if we approve this site plan the way it is, it looks like we're approving what you put into a lease, which is you might not want to tie yourselves to the lease in terms of our zoning approval. And that's what and my concern, the way you've presented it, is that for the public who might want to look at it, let's just say, that they don't know about it now, but this is what always happens is now all of a sudden one of the neighbors will find out, but they look at this and they're not gonna know what we're really rezoning because of the coloration just doesn't say what we're doing. We're looking to rezone the whole piece of property.
Yeah, I mean, two things on that point. Number one, we view this as a educational use. We view the whole property as an educational use.
Mhm.
The Lyme Academy of Fine Arts owns this property. The Lyme Academy of Fine Arts has given a life tenancy to a particular tenant on the property.
And that's yeah.
And that has a position with the school. We view the whole property as an educational use. As far as the particular shading on this map, this particular drawing is one sheet of 40 or 50 pages that we've submitted to the zoning department. We've explained why that this has this shading, and it's because of specific negotiations on exclusive use of this. In other words, meaning that Lafayette is not going to allow the tenant at the property to use this portion of the property. But the inverse is not also true, that they are going to be able to use the outdoor showcase and other spaces of the property. Just because there's an exclusive use doesn't mean that there's no other uses.
that's kind of what exclusive means.
That's kind of.
No, but what I'm saying is that there's
You defined the tenant
there's
versus.
exclusive use by LAFA of the yellow shaded area. What I'm saying is that there's not an exclusive use of the green by the tenant.
But that's what you're.
No, that's what it
Read
says.
what the map says. It says exclusive use.
Green area, exclusive use.
That's
by
why I'm
tenant.
bringing this
That's
up.
news to me.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
and
that's our
this
problem.
arrow right here.
Okay, you're right.
But I
Exclusive use.
get
Okay.
his
That's what
point.
I
That was not the intent of the.
Yeah, I
Our point was
understand that wasn't the intent.
the
That's why I've been
the
bringing
tenants
it up
can't
because I
go
didn't want
into
to
the
tie you guys
educational
to this
space, yeah.
land
Yeah.
use, this
I
use
appreciate
change.
that. I didn't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that was on there.
You need to
Okay.
be, yeah, you need to it has,
Yeah.
the rest of the green space has nothing to do with the tenant.
The way it's described in this site plan review, in essence, or coastal site plan review, and this change of use. So that's why I was been articulating from the beginning. Are you sure this is correct? Because if this is what gets filed, even if we agree to a condition where it's changed, we're still not familiar with the changes that you guys are doing. We're leaving it to the DEO to make that assumption, right? That it's good enough for the people sitting here.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, maybe we can do a special meeting. If this, in this case, if you're not trying to redraw the whole site plan, you get this CAD file or however you get Hendricks down there. I feel hopefully 20 days, somewhere before Jane leaves, there might be an opportunity to reshade this map or however you plan on doing it and show us the changes that you're going to make as best you can without having to go do a full A2, because somebody's already done the A2. You just need someone to redelineate the draft work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would look at all of these boxes that you basically telling us how you're gonna use.
And modify the language and change the
Because we
colors.
don't need to know all of that. It's like, if you want this as it's gonna be used for, a school, then we should know that. In the narrative, you can get into, okay, this is what the tenant's gonna do so that it's not just a tenant, so that we can say, and I think that's important. You were discussing that they were gonna, offer the house up as whatever, hospitality or do something. They were gonna be some part of the educational piece. That's, I think, the important narrative here.
Yeah.
You're giving us stuff that like really confuses the issue and would confuse the public if they went into the files. And that's where we don't have anybody commenting on it now, but this is where it will come back to bite us if this gets into the file.
I understand the intent with the tenancy and the tenant and his area to use while he's there for his life use. I understand all that. It's just not reflected here.
Yeah, yeah.
We can fix that.
And I apologize. I didn't know the exclusive. I knew about the exclusive use by
What's that?
owner, but
Very
not the tenant.
generous. It's wonderful. I think we all
Yeah,
support
I'm
that.
I'm just trying to do it
We
right.
just want it to be right.
It's gotta be
That's
right.
exactly right. Yeah.
And to that point, do you think you guys can get, if you don't want to wait till March, is there a mechanism to get it done sooner, or at least try on your half? Because if you can, I think
Yes.
the resources of the person who made this donation, as far as his skill, the people that he's worked with, I'm sure he's got somebody that can get out here and get a survey and get this thing done and get it back here before the end of the month.
Does it need the full survey? It can just be.
Well, there's already been a full survey done. You're just taking somebody's draft work on a CAD file and reapplying it somewhere else and putting somebody else's stamp on it.
That we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be more interested, rather than trying to get into all the land area. It's like, okay, this building's the barn. It's the art center and it has an apartment in it. This one has an apartment, so that we kind of know. And the fact that there's an apartment in the residential unit is kind of saying, oh, and we are going to use this unit. I mean, I think that's an important thing that you need to document,
Right.
so I'm looking at, just tell us how the building's going to be used, and then, so that then it's supporting your application for an educational use.
The
So
other
that zone
apartments
change.
in the instructional space?
There's one apartment in the yellow.
So inside the yellow?
Inside the yellow, on that little annex area. It's above that.
I don't want to overcomplicate it. Would it be useful to delineate this into instructional? It's all owned. You own it all.
Mhm.
To delineate into instructional space and housing?
Well, they did that, but they just didn't define it as clear as I think they need to make it.
We can certainly delineate which ones are apartment spaces,
No,
which
it's
ones are.
in the context of owner and tenant right now, not instructional. and
Oh,
housing.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
Which ties it to educational, but more.
Yeah, because it's like owner, who's,
Yeah.
like, we understand who the owner is, but
And
like,
then you
yeah.
can put a little different color in for the
Yeah,
housing
That's a
component
good
that's
way to
embedded
do it.
in your,
Right.
in your instruction.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and even when you say an instructional, then it's like, okay, because then it's like when we're doing the housing, then you can say like, okay, so how does all this housing tie, that's what we need in the narrative. How does all this housing, so it justifies our change, because that's our challenge, is we don't supposed to have this mixed use.
Because you own it all and it's all educational, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's. a
I thought I
start
did address
function
the housing in the narrative.
You did. I'm just saying, just make that really clear.
Picture and-
That's where we,
Visual learners is
that's
what I'm.
where we need that.
Well, it's the map that's
Well,
gonna
that's
go with
okay.
it.
We
'Cause
relate
Everything's
to
up for
this.
interpretation.
Yeah.
Well,
It's definitely not art. I get that.
what happens is everybody turns to this,
Yeah.
and this is like so confusing.
Skips all the boring.
So, and it's just make sure that it's nice and tight in terms of what we need to do. Why is, where the tenant is using it, why are we gonna say this? And I know you do have some of that
Yeah.
narrative in
It
there.
benefits all of us to have that.
As far as your map corrections, I saw the gentleman nodding in the back that he seems to think he can probably get this done in a timely manner. So
Yeah.
We're in our school. You can redraw the map.
Yeah.
sure you got CAD somewhere.
Okay,
So do we want to?
Other questions?
Special meeting? Is there an appetite for that?
Maybe,
For Jane?
maybe we should find out when you get yours done. You work with-
Yeah, I think when you
If you
get
give
it
us a deadline,
done.
we'll get it done.
We can-
well, we haven't spoken to Jane. We don't know our schedules, so
Yeah.
I would say, as one maggot said to the other, work in dead earnest, okay, to get it done. And,
I haven't heard that.
no, that's a new one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But that's an old one, That's a real old
They
one.
say oldie but a goodie.
That's right. But so, yeah, if you get it done, then let Eric know. And then at that point, we'll look at trying to get everyone together for a special meeting if we can. If not, then, because Jane is kind of key in this. She was very key at the very beginning. So if not, we're off until March.
Is there a way to bring her up to speed in advance of that meeting?
she can listen to the,
Okay.
The audio.
tape of the meeting,
Okay.
so that she can hear what our concerns are.
Mhm.
But, yeah, she can do
Okay.
that. But I think the best thing for us to do is for you to tell us
Mhm.
when you think of contact Eric,
Mhm.
when you think you're ready,
Mhm.
and let Eric maybe have a first pass through to it. And then he can then let us know, and then we can take it from there for scheduling.
Yeah, just quickly, do you know when she's leaving?
I don't, I know she's gonna be gone the entire month of February, but I don't know when in February,
Okay.
or whether she's leaving at the end.
January, it's
Right.
January, okay.
And you're
Paul,
off
if I
in
may.
February, you said? Or
Well,
off-
What's that?
You're off in February, there's
Well,
a meeting.
he
No, there is a meeting, but
She's not.
Jane will not be here, and I think Jane had a lot of questions on this. So-
Procedurally, do we want to just say we're going to set a
No,
special meeting?
no,
So that way you
No,
can
we
continue?
can't-
No.
no.
We're leaving it open until the next meeting. If we
Right.
have a special meeting, we'll put that out there.
We'll do it ahead of time.
We can't,
Okay, because that's right. Okay, because we might have the response by February,
We're
not
not-
March. I'm thinking it's not going to be heard again until March, but in
We're
essence, it
not
could be heading
closing
into.
this public hearing.
I understand. I'm not-
we're leaving the public hearing open.
So
That's
depending
what
on
I'm
whether
getting at.
Jane can provide input, in that meeting or before or whatever, that'll all depend. So we're not gonna schedule
I
anything
understand.
until we get,
Procedurally, Michael, I can't just open-endedly say there will be a special meeting, but I can't tell you when or where.
No, I was going to say, just pick a date and then they can get a request for an extension to the next meeting if
No,
that wasn't it.
we're having
But
a
I
meeting
understand what
then.
you're saying. That's fine.
okay.
And do you need to, because it's a public hearing, do we need to ask?
No, we're gonna, yeah, if there's any additional, then, well, we're still gonna. Okay, any more questions then for the applicants? Or have we kind of like enough?
No, I think we did good for you though.
Yeah.
I do feel that way. Thank
Okay,
you. I
If
appreciate.
I was an applicant, I'd feel pretty good right about
Yeah.
now.
thank you.
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time. Thank you.
You need to open a public comment, right?
Yeah, yeah. So is there anyone in the room here this
Who's
evening
left behind us?
that would like to make
Thank you.
a public comment about this application? Okay, so there is no one that right now at this meeting would like to. I will entertain a motion that we continue the public hearing for the Lime Academy. Forget exactly what it is. 80-1 Lime Street until the February meeting.
So moved.
Move, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jane, by Mary, Denise. Looking at Mary Jo and I'm saying. Okay, Denise, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Okay, so this will be continued then to the February meeting. Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're down in the hour here. We're pushing our limit. But we can do it. Yes, we can. You can do it. So with this whole business, that was 80-1 Line Street, and then
Could be 11 Seaside Lane at this
the
point.
11 Seaside Lane, application to remove and replace pavilion, all within the existing footprint. Application in the town of Old Lyme. Good.
This is quicker than that. That was my first time coming before you guys, so, I think you were given the plans, we sent it up to Cam, because it's obviously on the water. This is White Sand Beach,
Okay,
the existing gazebo pavilion that's down there. It's been there for quite a long time. The town would like to take that down and put in a new structure.
So this is the DEP comments that came in today saying it's fine.
Okay.
Let's see what we found in here. No. Mention like, okay, this is. Pull the right file on this thing.
We're not increasing the size of the structure or anything like that, basically just keeping it as is. The only difference is that we have to raise it because it's in the flood VE 14. So we have to raise the bottom of the roof line. So other than that, it's under the height restriction, whatever that 35 foot,
Yeah,
I
right.
believe. Total height of the building, probably 18 feet with the roof. And 4 posts and a roof and a concrete slab. Is what
so but the existing footprint
in the existing.
and town will do this construction?
No, we went out to bid. We received bids where we haven't,
Okay, good.
done anything yet because of approval.
Okay.
Town will do like the demolition, some of the site work. But, dropping the pier, the post, the beam.
Eric, when do they plan on getting the construction done?
As soon as we get through all of our permit, we'd like that, we want it done by April 30th.
Separate question, but the bid, you guys went out to bid.
Yeah.
That bid is not to approve municipality for the construction.
Well, it's budgeted.
It's budgeted.
Yes, the town over the last 2 years has set aside money for this. So we don't have to, we're not looking for more approval. It's making the zoning and building approval and then.
So the bid's already been awarded.
No, we haven't awarded anything yet.
Okay.
We went out to bid. We received.
Yeah, I saw the
4 or
result.
5 bids. So now
Expensive 4 posts.
they are. So these,
You must.
right, they'll go down. I think it's 30 feet total. The posts or the beams are 40 feet in length. So it's overkill. I understand that, but we don't have any.
No, it's not your
say
fault.
in What FEMA wants us to do.
So
So
there were no changes since the presentation we got from the fellow from DACA?
yes, he did talk about it. I think at your last meeting in
Yes.
December when this was set. So yes, so that's who was doing the.
Is there
engineering.
power to the structure?
No, there is no current power to the structure.
It's not proposed.
I would like to, but I don't think it's gonna be able to fit in the budget,
So
because
you
there's
guys-
power at the bathhouse that's over here.
Yeah.
So there was a discussion to possibly put that in. But
It started there and worked here second.
Well, there's also the issue that this is, the whole reason it's doing this is because it's in FEMA, so anything you have would need to be up above FEMA
Yeah, your
elevation.
plugs would have to be up on.
right, so I mean, that's like a wish list, but whenever they do anything down here, I guess they run an extension cord from the bathhouse, so. But that's not that's Park and Rec, so.
It's a big umbrella.
It's a $250,000 umbrella.
Big umbrella. There'll be a new ADA ramp there's a current ramp now, it's wood. The platform or the concrete pad will be lower than what's there, so it's lowering, the ramp length and, whatnot, but it'll be a poured concrete ramp, ADA accessible.
And
basically
so
that's-
now it's even compliant and DEEP said it's okay?
Yes.
All right.
Now it's 88.
And what are you doing for seating underneath it? Just
Picnic tables? They have picnic tables,
Yeah.
that's what they'll buy. They'll
Yep.
probably 2 picnic tables that'll, they'll purchase some nice picnic tables and put underneath there.
You want like a little coupon on this thing? This thing's lacking some curvature.
We're trying to keep it as low as possible so the neighbors.
It's a wind issue.
Well, I mean,
It's a wind issue.
it's low, but it's ugly. So I wonder if there's a way to like make it look better.
I think we got a really detailed report
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
were looking at it. So we went over it pretty close. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to make a motion.
I'm ready to. So,
So this is.
So I'll make the motion to approve the 11
Okay.
Seaside Lane application.
okay,
Second.
Bethany, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Okay, project is.
John Derek.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks for hanging in there till 9 o'clock.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, poor guy.
We'll chat tomorrow.
8 o'clock, went early.
Yes, exactly. All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night. Thanks, Eric. All right, where are we? Okay, receipt and setting of public hearings for new cases. Yeah, we got our plate full. All right, we have case 26-1 special permit application 29 Smith Neck Road, application pad 425 square feet, addition to existing caretaker dwelling RU 40 zone and within the Gateway Conservation Zone. John Kinney applicant.
What number?
26-1, 29 Smith Neck. Do you have anything on that?
We're just proceeding and setting a public hearing. So I was gonna let Bob talk about it and see what you want to do. But I have the application in front of me and
In the interest of time, if you could give us a brief overview, that would truly be appreciated. as you're not the last item on the agenda.
I hired a young engineer and he went to a wetlands meeting for me in Madison.
Yeah.
And he did the public hearing. It was by Zoom. He goes, there's the house, there's the driveway, there's the pool. What else do you want to know?
Perfect. See you at the public hearing scheduled for.
It's a 5.5 acre parcel. We're adding 433 square feet to the house. Just for reference, here's the addition is in green on here. The existing houses, it's one building that's connected by breezeway. The property record card shows it as 3 separate structures, but it is connected.
Is it a single dwelling or is there more than?
The single dwelling, yeah. But they call this the caretaker guest house. And this is the main house and this is a accessory, but it's all connected right in through here.
Covered breezeway or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Built in 1968.
How many square feet is it?
That's from my memory. I was going to be briefer.
Yeah.
I have it in my,
I feel like I should ask.
no, you should. In my statement of use, I have it identified.
Was it on your lot coverage map down?
It's 2 existing residences on the property because the property record card. One is 3,946 square feet.
For a single story?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one is 2,008 square feet.
For a single story,
For a
right? And you're
single
adding
story.
432 to that one?
Yep. Single story.
So the total on that one is?
Yeah, it goes up. It's right here.
Got it. It's just for the record.
Yeah.
Eric, what's our schedule looking like? I mean, next month we've got
Well, next month we've got the regular,
zoning,
right?
got the regs,
And you've got
the academy.
Academy if they come back here. And then we've got, again, the things we're receiving tonight. Again, we've got 3 different special permit applications here, one of which is for the Lime Apartments, single family dwelling, which we're going to hear from next. And again, the others are sort of backed up behind this. So how many of these 3 that you're receiving you want to set?
We can do this one for February, right?
You can probably do this one for February. Yeah, I mean,
So
Yeah.
let's,
my suspicion is, given what you did or didn't hear tonight on the regs, is that maybe the regs aren't going to take up as much time in February as potentially they, yeah, you were fearing they might.
right,
So if if you have as many comments next month as you have this month,
well, we'll go through that rather quickly.
you go through them pretty quickly. So you can probably schedule, you know, as many of these for February as you want. But I think you have space on your February agenda at this point in time.
We're all, okay, well, let's
Start with
this one. Let's start this one. So I'll take a motion that we receive this case 26-1 and set the public hearing for the February 2026 meeting. By Mary Jo, second.
Second.
By Michael Barnes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, abstain. Okay.
6,300 square feet.
Yeah.
On a single story.
And it's over 4,000. That's why we're here before you.
Of course. But
We're getting good at this.
And what it is, we're squaring off the building essentially.
yeah, I see them.
Weird and old.
So I'm sorry, just to reiterate, you said it looks like 3 buildings,
Yeah,
but they're all
but it's
connected.
This is connected by a covered connection.
Okay,
That's
okay.
We've gone to health, have their approval.
How about the gateway?
Gateway, we are exempt
Because it's existing? Why are you
because
exempt?
it's a minor addition.
It's a good workaround.
And I specified that it was on our plan, coastal boundary. Gateway Conservation Zone, yeah, we haven't. That it just gets referred to them. For coastal boundary, we are exempt per section 4.2.3, which is a minor addition.
Well, you're not even in with the critical coastal resource setback line, so.
No, we're well outside the
5 feet out, but yeah.
We're 346.7 feet away from.
There it is, at 5. What are you 5 feet from? The side prop, what was that? 55 feet from the side property line?
Yeah, 56 feet from
Okay,
the
that's what I
side
mean, I'm sorry.
property line. Yeah, this is the Connecticut River or
Gotcha.
the beginning of the Duck River.
All right. Thank you.
We're well outside the 100-foot review area from the coastal jurisdiction line.
Thought it was only 50. Thought it was only 50.
From tidal
We
wetlands.
haven't gotten this.
50 from tidal wetlands in the, or
Yeah,
critical coastal
coastal
resource.
jurisdiction line.
Oh, from the CJO.
Gateway's interested in the 100 feet.
I think I know the answer to this, but will there be any, you anticipate any disturbance to existing topographic forms as a result of this?
No. Nope.
And how about the windows that you had to put in this? Are they going to be the new bird proof? Less
That's
birds
ridiculous.
flying into them
We will.
material, whatever that's called.
Yeah, the reflection.
Thank you.
Reduced reflection so that the birds don't see a tree reflecting in the window. Yes.
Okay.
Good thing there's not many trees in front of that one.
No, they're not.
No.
And lighting, do you have any idea on that? What they're
Sorry, go ahead.
lighting? Do you have any thoughts on lighting?
Just come prepared for next month.
I don't know, but I'll ask the designer.
Okay.
Since you're coming back next month, don't spend.
Yeah, I'd say let's just move it along so that way you can get home and get the next applicant.
All right.
We'll see. I'll be briefer next month. Now they-
No, next month you might need to be a little more detailed, depending on who's gonna- but I bet you no one shows up.
Okay,
Okay, all set.
perfect. All set.
Thank you.
See you next month. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Second item is case 26-2, special permit application and coastal site plan. 100 Mile Creek application to construct a new single-family dwelling with a total area of 6,113 square feet within the Gateway Conservation Zone. Alan Todd applicant.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good long evening.
Yeah.
For the record, Joe Wren, professional engineer of Indigo over in Old Saybrook. Similar to the last application, be very brief here. 100 Mile Creek Road. There's just a small single-family dwelling on there right now, 400 and some odd square feet. We went to Zoning Board of Appeals to allow this to be built as a primary residence and then this to remain as eventually an accessory apartment on the property. That we already have that variance in hand. So this application, since this house is more than 4,000 square feet in the gateway zone, and it's not just the house, it's all the structures on the property. So the 2 sheds are counted. We have a gross floor table here, plus the 426 odds, 462, whatever it is for the accessory, and then plus this. It's a 1-floor dwelling. However, it's a walkout basement, so the whole basement counts towards your floor. So the number of the house, it's all listed here, is like 29 and change on the single main floor living, and then 1,900 and change on the bottom floor, plus the other units. That's where we get up over the 4,000 square feet. Black Hall River just starts over here. There's a little tidal creek, tidal wetlands. We kept everything, including all the grading and the septic, outside of the 100-foot. So we don't have anything in the 100-foot or the 50-foot at all. We're also outside the flood zone. So we're flood compliant. We don't need any other variances other than the one I mentioned for the accessory dwelling. So we're zoning compliant. We do have a coastal area management because that applies to pretty much everything now. And so we have that in there, but we do have drainage around the house. There are no gutters. So we have a 3-foot wide rounded riverstone drip edge. to collect the roof runoff and get it into the coarse sand and gravels below. So that's everything in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I can answer them, or we'll be ready for next month as well.
I'll just make a comment, just so other people are familiar, the town of Old Lyme, this is the town of Old Lyme property back here. It's about 2 acres on the Black Hall River frontage. This is a 15-foot easement that goes across this property to get back to this access point. I know recently these people, I was hoping they were going to bring it up at ZBA, but I'm bringing it up to you now because it's going to need to be addressed. They planted trees they improved the landscape along the stone wall where they removed a lot of brush. But the town has not done a good job of maintaining the 15-foot road that goes to the back of this property that goes to the inside of this interior lot, which is owned by the town of Old Lyme. So they recently planted some evergreen trees here. And right when they planted them, I called the selectmen trying to tell them that, hey, somebody should call them and let them know that they just planted all of those trees within the 15-foot right of way of the town. So that's going to at some point have to be addressed.
Yeah. Is that a right of way? Is that under the Conservation Commission?
It goes into, it's not, the property has not been maintained by anybody.
That's not, okay.
So it's actually an old dumping ground. There's substantial vehicles and different things that are back there. However, I just want to clarify that there is a road that's supposed to exist. It's not an improved road currently. I'm just bringing that up because I don't want to snag.
I don't know about the word road, but there is a right of way, and the owner knows about the right of way, and we've done everything around it to preserve that space, so you physically can still walk from the road.
Right now, there's trees that are in the improved road. Right. Well, in the improved right of way.
Right of way.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
But
you might want
15
to
feet, you only need 3 feet to walk. So
yeah, but you can't preclude the town from ever being able to use this deeded right of way, which at one time is in essence 15 feet wide because it was a road.
yeah, probably the easiest thing for him to do is just put it over the driveway. Shift.
If he wants to do that, but I mean, I probably wouldn't want to share a driveway with an interior lot if I didn't have to.
No one uses that property. No one goes back there.
I know no one does now, but that's because people didn't know it was back there.
Yeah. It's there are buried vehicles. It's the old dump, basically.
Yep.
The old town dump. So it's other than having some tidal wetland frontage, it's.
Yeah.
I know it's
I think the point is that if we have an existing right of way, we don't want to lose it. So we want to make sure that the site plan comes
You won't
in
lose it.
and
It's in the deed and it's preserved as open on here.
But presently it's not. Because he just improved trees on it.
Well, we want trees, right?
Not on the right of way.
Gateway wants trees.
Well, no, but have the trees just moved outside.
If you have 15 feet, that's like as wide as these two tables together. So even if he has a tree on that side, there's still plenty of room to walk.
Okay, I'm not getting into the property rights issue. There's a right of way. We need to make sure the right of way is shown on the map. What the right of way gets used for will be entirely for separate people to worry about.
Right.
All you guys need to worry about is that nothing that they are doing interferes with the use of the right of way. That is the limits of your.
that's what we're looking at is the plan.
Actually, the purpose of this application, just because the house is over 4,000 square feet.
Right. Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with the right
We'll
of way.
address this.
That's more of a civil matter,
You know,
not really.
well, you again, you're demonstrating you're not proposing anything
Right.
that is in the right of way or otherwise interferes with the right of way. So as long as we can look at your plan and say that, then that pretty much finishes what we're going to be doing. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
we were very careful though to work around that. We understand it's there, it shows on the survey and it's open, other than trees, I don't know, you know.
And it goes to
That's
Gateway,
correct.
did you say that?
What's up?
Did you say it goes to the Gateway for review?
This will go to Gateway for review. Any referral that comes through here for this type of application should automatically go to Gateway. Because the house is over 4,000 square feet, or the gross floor area on the property is over 4,000 square feet, so that automatically triggers the coastal regulations of your zoning regulations, which the only reason why they're necessary is because of Gateway.
Yeah, I think it's an unnecessary regulation, by the way.
So you know that the windows will be in the shed.
All that stuff. We are in front of Gateway all the time. I know all all dark sky compliant, full cutoff lighting, non-reflective glass. All the proper
Down lighting.
Expensive wish
all that
list for
good stuff.
applicants.
Down lighting is full cutoff and
Yeah.
dark sky
Dark
compliant.
sky compliant, right.
Well, we,
But we're more than 100 feet away too, so they don't really have. If the
Right.
house was inside the 100 feet, then they could be more particular about that stuff. We're outside of 100 feet, so It's more of a courtesy more than anything else.
That's why I was saying how that the gateway has implications of properties that are further away from the Connecticut River because it says and its tributaries and Black Hall goes all the way to the highway. So that's what I'm saying, several miles.
Not trying to focus minds here, folks, but we're at 9:26 and we've got things to do.
So
Makes sense.
let's, I'll take a motion that we, receive this and schedule it for the February meeting.
Second,
Okay,
February 2.
okay.
I'm just got one question. Will we hear from Gateway by then?
Yes, we should hear from Gateway.
We have a
They-
meeting on
they don't-
January 22nd. They should take it up at that hearing.
thank you.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, and the last one is case 26-3, special permit application and coastal site plan 77-1 and -2 Lime Street application to construct 2 buildings containing a total of 8 residential dwelling units, MFR 80 zone, Lime Academy Apartments.
They're not here tonight, as you can probably tell.
Yep.
Again, they were originally contemplating the buildings in the front, which have been there for many years at this point, are 8 and 8. They were going to duplicate that in the back. They turned out to own less property than they thought they did.
After the wetlands approval?
After they had to go back and modify the wetlands approval, yeah. So they are only proposing 4 and 4 instead. Again, they're not here to sort of argue their case, but up to you when you want to set the public hearing for on this one.
I would probably say we should put this one to March. Yeah. Okay, take a motion that we set this, receive and set it for March, the March meeting.
So move.
Mary Jo, second
Second.
by Mr. Poliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, that's in March. Okay, so we moved the election of the officers for this year to this section of the meeting.
Do we have to do it with all the members? Like, do we need to have all the members? No.
No,
not
if you're
like-
not here, you get the role anyway.
Well, technically, Michael, you don't actually get a vote because it's only regular members who get to vote.
So that's what I'm saying. Should we
Well,
tell the other regular members?
up to you, but I mean, next meeting, he and Jane are not going to be here and you guys need officers before now and March. So.
I'll dial in.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll dial in
Okay.
if I have.
So do we need to make motions for people right now?
You know what? We're
Yeah.
getting a lot of people who may not be here next month. I wanted to just add that. I didn't know you.
So, well,
Jane's not, you're not,
I will
call in.
But that's what your
I
alternates
will
are
do a
for.
remote.
Huh?
That's what your alternates are for.
Yes, but they don't get to vote on
Oh, no,
officers.
no, no,
but
I-
yeah.
Not on officers. I'm talking about on
No,
applications.
it has nothing to do about the alternates. It feels like a lot of people and just, not just a couple are
Right.
gonna be out. So
So,
I can try and call in because I'm not gonna.
Well, you're out too.
Yes.
so we have a quorum. We can vote.
Yeah.
So starting at the bottom of the ticket, I guess. Ms. Marsh. Do we do it in abstention and say congratulations when she returns or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll make a motion that Jane Marsh for continue as secretary for the commission.
Second.
Second. Okay,
I'll make a motion that we go for you for chair.
well, we're
We're
not.
going up the list.
You gotta wait.
Got to vote here.
I thought we just did.
No, we did.
We have for secretary. Now we're doing for vice chair.
Now we're going to vice chair. I would like to put into nomination the name of Denise Savageau as vice chair.
I second.
Second. Okay. Now we move on to that coveted position.
I nominate Paul Orzel as chair.
And I second.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay. All right, so with that slate, all in favor of the secretary, Jane Marsh, vice chair Denise Savageau, and myself as chair, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay,
Congratulations,
Thank you.
I think.
congrats.
Should be a good one next week.
Oh, yes, next month. Be a doozy, as Hazel used to say.
Hopefully our tires aren't slashed outside.
Oof. Okay, 2 more things.
Minutes.
We have the approval of the December 8th minutes.
Which I read and make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, so I guess we can adjourn. It's not on here. Can we do it? It doesn't say adjourn.
You can always adjourn.
All right, we have adjourned at 9:31 PM.
Eric's afraid we're
Just
not.
Derek's been here since 8 o'clock.
Sorry, I've been talking. It's like just.
Thank you, everyone.